Let's just quickly talk through the motor vehicle situation with regards to the case of William Tyrrell. So we know that the foster mother's mother passed away, and the vehicle that she owned at the time of William Tyrrell's disappearance in 2014 was sold, and it's down in a sort of semi-rural bushland area of, is it Cronulla, down south of Sydney. And it's being forensically examined by law enforcement at the moment. Why this wasn't done as part of due process and investigation into a missing child does beg a belief. It's the type of thing that you wish, wow, I should have questioned that. Why didn't I? We should never take anything for granted in the course of any investigation, because we're being shown time and time again that I's are not dotted and T's are not crossed. And victims rely on this. They deserve this. So it's absolutely atrocious that this didn't happen. So the car's being forensically examined, and the interesting thing about this, I mean, beyond the obvious that police think that maybe William was transported in this vehicle. When foster mother was telling her stories, plural, she had spoken about the places that she'd searched, and to the end of the road, the dead-end road where the bush is. What you need to understand about the property they were on in Benaroon Drive is there are little finger roads going up into the bush that run parallel to each other, and on these roads there are properties, and in between the backs of each of these properties are rectangles of bush. Well, the story that foster mother told was she started looking for William. She was looking for him in the street. She went to the end of the road to where the bush is. She's been calling out. She says she went to what was known then as the riding school. What she failed to mention, and what I feel a fool for not questioning deeply enough, was the fact that, well, it appears she would have driven there, and I think this is the fact that's come out, or maybe a realisation that police have finally had. Did she walk around the kilometre, or it's probably just a few hundred metres as the crow flies, to said riding school in Cobb and Co Road, or did she drive? And was the fact that she was driving around in a vehicle looking for William, when in fact William's little body could have been in the car, and she's actually been in fact hiding him, not seeking him. Is this why the stories keep arising about vehicles in the street, people watching her? There were 2 or 3 vehicles by the time this woman was finished telling all their little stories. So was this to explain he was maybe seeing a car going up and down? Maybe they won't say, oh, that's foster grandmother's car, we saw her, she must have been searching in that, because that would give law enforcement the idea that maybe William was being taken away. Because all this time, it's been easy to think that it's possible foster father took William's body away. And little wonder, because of course he's the one that left the house. The time has never been nailed down, not for us plebs, the time of when he left and when he returned. But we know the call to 000 was at 10:56 a.m. So did foster mother take William's little body under the guise of searching for him take his little body away, not very far at all, just to the other side of the bush, and hide him at the riding school. There were searches through this bush, but not all by professional searchers. There's been people out looking, maybe people saying, well, you know, I'll search the riding school, I've got the keys to all the buildings. And when you think you might be looking for a runaway child, people might not be looking for things such as graves. So we don't know what it is the police are really looking for. We can only make assumptions that police think foster mother has had something to do with William's disappearance. The sick thing is, it's nothing to do with whether it's an accident or not. To hide an accident is such an act of disrespect to William, to his sister, to all who love him, his biological parents, all because you were worried about neglect, about losing this other daughter, the one that you probably just wanted all along, right? William was a little more rowdy and difficult by accounts. And you might feel that you've got a lot to lose and that it's better if he's a missing child, and that you are supported in your grief, in your grieving, the grieving which may very well be real. But did it happen because you weren't watching William? He's climbed up and he's jumped off a deck, he's fallen, he's been knocked over by Daddy's car. Remember, there's the story about William riding on his little tricycle or something and crashing into the garden. Was this an explanation for something that might have come up in an investigation were it carried out thoroughly? Was this to somehow explain if there might be traces of blood found in the garden, for example? So this, of course, brings to mind my theory about Candace Bly. Because little Summer Moon Utah Wells, there has been some confusion about her name, by the way, because it was reported early on in the Hawkins County newspapers that her name was Summer Utah Moon Wells. And that makes sense to me. The Utah moon, being in the open plains of Utah or in a home space of Utah and seeing your Utah moon, right? And Moon Utah Wells just sounds a little funny to me, but this is how we say it. And I believe Don, who doesn't know the age of Summer, he didn't know the age of Summer when she disappeared. I doubt he knows her birthday. However, let's just take his word for it. Summer Moon Utah Wells. We all know Candace Bly's story. First, she looked around the property. Then she gets in her car, and not her red car, but the car she's been driving that day. She gets in the Silverado, that is her grandmother's, and drives up and down the holler. Oh, now ostensibly, what is she looking for? Miles and miles away. Ostensibly, she's looking for, were there other cars seen driving away? And no, she saw nobody. But of course, Summer Moon Utah Wells' little body might have been in that Silverado and could have been taken to be hidden by Candace Bly anywhere in that holler. And we know these holler back roads are known to Candace like the back of her hand. And we know that they're extended family of Don living all throughout the holler. And who knows what property Summer Moon Utah Wells is on, but I don't think she's far from home. I do not think she's in Mexico. I don't know what the fuck is going on about this cornbread hillbilly mafia. I don't know why that might make Candace scared. Maybe it's because she feels like this is who she is. and who she's been trying to identify all these times by wearing her bandanas and taking all those photos with the smoke going up over her face while she's playing some rap music. I don't know what her bag is, but my contention has always been that she took Summer away. And is this what's happened? Is this what's happened with William Tyrrell? Has the foster mother taken little William away? And all these years, his sister has had to live with these lying parents. They've been able to gaslight her, manipulate her, twist her memory, But is it now? Who is it that's pointed the police back in the direction to their square one, if you will, the square one that they kind of hopped right on over as if one of them drew a chalk hopscotch on the ground and threw a rock, and they said, oh, it's on number 5. Let's start there. So is it because a 10-year-old child has said, I remember, Mummy driving around looking for William, and I remember being there with foster Nana while she did that, or whatever it is, Or is it just a slow realization? They've been charged with child abuse. Is this the emotional, mental abuse of William's sister? Is this for abuse because they've kept her away from her rightful family under the false pretenses of being a safe environment for her? They were way too old to adopt. I know people might disagree with me here, but this is actually what happens. I think it is a backdoor to adoptions, and the government departments that are supposed to be overseeing this, or the non-government funded agencies that have anything to do with it, they're all complicit in this backdoor to adoption for older parents. They were 49 and 47 when they got their hands on little William and his sister, and they never would have been able to adopt, okay? But they thought it was their fast track through foster to adoption, right? Now, okay, fostering could be a way for childless people to experience parenthood, to have that deep satisfaction of being able to pass on things to another generation, to have something to do with building up a new generation. It might satisfy a lot of things, a lot of really primitive needs. It doesn't mean that adoption is right, because young children, look, this will sound judgmental, but having children is for the young. You should have children when you're young. That's my belief. And maybe when you are young and foolish, but there's nothing to grow you up in maturity sometimes than having children. Although these days people just seem to carry on dumping their children with ex-boyfriends who are meth heads and things like that. But anywho, when you've got a lot of energy, when you're growing with it, when you're learning with them, and when you are still young, when it's time to take maybe a grandparent role, or still young enough to maybe have some sort of life after your children are adults. So, perhaps you're 40 when they're 18 and they're at university, and you are still fresh and you're still able to contribute in many ways to life and to experience many things still in life. Who knows? So, and you are there for the long haul for your children, okay? When you're 50 years old and you're having a child, maybe given to you through adoption, Who's to say you're not going to have a heart attack at 65 and this child is without its guardian and is then in a super vulnerable state. Anyway, this is meandering again. I just wanted to talk about the car, really. How was this not forensically processed at the time? This is just unbelievable. I can't recall the name of the victim from New Zealand right now, so I won't attempt to say it. But there was a case in New Zealand where a woman is missing and the police are called and, they are looking around. They never look in the boot of the car parked in the driveway to discover her dead body. This woman had to lie there for a week. This is just incomprehensibly lacking, just in my opinion, okay? What do you think about these sorts of things? Is this policing 101? Do you think they just need a little checkbox? Who it comes from, the person in charge of the investigation is there to ensure that everyone does their job. And part of that job is the systematic checking of things like vehicles, right? Taking witness statements, right? These things didn't happen. They either haven't happened at all, it seems, and they didn't happen in a timely manner. And when witness statements were taken, anonymity, I can never say some words, you know it. Some things that didn't match up were completely ignored, it seems. But nothing to see here. Let's move on to the low-hanging fruit. It's like the cops going after the people selling tinnies of pot to 18-year-olds outside the local pub, right? Rather than saying go after people who might be dealing cocaine to distributors who then take it to schools or whatever, right? Anyway, low-hanging fruit. There, I've said enough of my piece, and I'll see you in the comment section. I'll speak to you later.